When you decide to go no contact with your family, it is easily one of the most powerful things you can do. And it can change your life for the better. Because you are sick and tired of their bullshit. And speaking of which, if you are sick and tired of bullshit and want to level up and change your life through truth, join my free community, the No Bullshit Society. The link's in the description and pinned comment down below. It is free to join. You didn't come to this conclusion of going no contact overnight. It wasn't made on a whim. It took time. It took a lot of perseverance. It took a lot of willpower. And you were pushed over the edge. Most likely, this was a long time coming. And when I mean family, I'm not talking about just parents. I'm talking about siblings, aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins, distant relatives as well. Family used to mean everything to you. That's because you bought into the Hollywood ideal of family. Everybody round the table, laughing, joking, having a conversation, loving each other, and all the good vibes. But sadly, that wasn't the home you were brought up in. Even though they tried to keep up appearances, even though they tried to have that ideal. But again, this doesn't just apply to immediate family. This can be extended family. And when you were a child, you put up with a lot of shit. That's because obviously you lack the emotional awareness and intelligence in order to grasp it. And in doing so, you said to yourself, is this normal? Should I be treated like this? Why do I feel this pain? The abandonment and disrespect and abuse and toxicity that you endured, especially as a child, certainly gave birth to anxiety, fear of abandonment and so much more. But more importantly than that, it made you wake up to the truth that family is just the title. Just because we call someone mum, dad, that they're an aunt, uncle, grandparent, whatever, even a cousin, it doesn't mean that we're bound to them for life. You see, when we're so enmeshed and so integrated into the family unit, we assume that it's almost a emotional prison sentence. That no matter what, and to what extent, we're going to go there. And we're going to be there with them forever. And by the way, this certainly applies to stepchildren, stepfathers, mothers as well. Again, it's all a title. There has been turmoil, a tornado, a storm brewing inside of you for a very, very long time. It's the inner conflict of not knowing exactly what to do next, how to approach things, and how to make sense of it all. It's why you watch videos like this, it's why you've read books, it's probably why you've attended counselling and therapy. Once again, to try and make sense of the situation. Why on earth has this happened? Why have they treated me like this? And how can I fix it? Our natural responses with family, obviously, because we are different people behind closed doors and around our families, we can be ourselves, we think. But the irony here is you can't be yourself because they'll never accept you. Because they'll never truly know how to love you. Because you'll never be good enough for the wrong person. How many Christmases, Thanksgivings, Easters, Eids, Hanukkahs, whatever, have had your hearts broken? How many times have you cried? How many times have you had that feeling of dread and anxiety going there for holidays and so on? Too long, I can imagine. But then something incredible happens, perhaps with friends or perhaps with a new partner or your current partner. You realize that that's your family now. You're your own family. That unit is your home. That's your haven. And yes, you have your differences and difficulties and so on. But at the end of the day, you connect. You understand. You grow. And you don't have the same complexities or issues. And you realize, like I said, family is a title. So whether it is with a spouse, whether it is with your pets, whether it is with close friends, that's your family. And typically, it could be something minor or something major. But a family incident will happen. And you will be on the receiving end. And for me, a couple of years back, my dad was 62 and he tragically died. And it was a shock to everyone. And close family around his death at a terrible time where funerals are getting delayed and so on and so forth. There was a backlog of deaths. Decided to push me over the edge by causing me stress, anxiety, and creating unnecessary drama. The inner turmoil that I suffered there and then was inexplicable. I was trying to make sense of not being able to say goodbye to my dad. Trying to process how we were going to move on with him dead. Business, family affairs, just emotionally, mentally, looking after my mum, etc. I was trying to make sense of just my life and, Sigmund Freud says you become a man when your father dies. And I had to learn the hard way. And he put hairs on my chest and delaying his funeral for months because of the backlog at the time in 2020. It was a nightmare. But on top of all of that shit, these idiots, who were blood relatives of my dad, decided to sprinkle more suffering on us by just creating lies, gossiping, and drama. I would say easily it was one of the lowest moments of my life from a mental health point of view. My anxiety was heightened the most, and I was a broken man. That's what grief does to you. And then I had family, like these family members, come by, and imagine if I was like laying on the street, rock bottom, broken. Here they come, repeatedly kicking me in the ribs and in the stomach and spitting on me. Just to rub salt in it. Obviously they didn't do that, but I'm saying that was how bad they conducted themselves. So I made a decision. Do I allow these so-called family members into my life moving forward? By the way, they even did more harsh things over time. Betrayal, lies, just horrendous behaviour. No one was calling them out, by the way. Or do I cut them out and go no contact? I chose no contact. And I forewarned others in the family to do the same. I said, if you allow these idiots in these uncertain times in and around you, expect more suffering and pain. They all ignored me. And naturally, as time went on, they too endured pain and suffering and drama. To the point that they actually eventually joined me in going no contact. But how did it change my life? I have more peace. I'm happier. I have less drama and less bullshit in my life. Now remember, we already have a lot of stress, drama and bullshit from the world and society. Having family who encourage and play on that is like basically willingly walking into the lion's den and saying, take me, tear me limb from limb. You don't have to walk into that lion's den. You could walk in the opposite direction where you are not mauled to pieces. Yeah, life is still tough. Yes, there's still bullshit. Yes, there's still nonsense. Yes, there's stress. But you're not crying on Christmas Day. Your birthday's not a difficult time. Family's what you make it. And you have more peace. Once you pass through the guilt and the shame, which is all bullshit, you realize that, why the hell did I not do this sooner? Now, if you want to come to other epiphanies like this, and like I said, are truly sick and tired of bullshit, you need to join like-minded people who will push you in the right direction. They are all in my free community, the No Bullshit Society. The link's in the description and in the pinned comment down below. It is free to join. So let me ask you a question. And I want you to be honest. When did you go no contact with your family? I want you to share your story in the comments below. And why? Because you have no idea who might read those comments and resonate with them. Because, trust me, you could inspire somebody to save and change their life. And also, those who haven't already, please don't be so harsh on yourself. Describe what's holding you back doing so. Most likely it's guilt and shame. And by the way, no contact doesn't mean you have to go completely cold turkey. You can keep them at arm's length. You don't socialize and everything. You're there in emergencies only. You see them from time to time. But I want you to share your truth below. By sharing your truth and opening up in these comments, like I said, excuse me, somebody will be in those comments and resonate with those points and say, wow, that's just like me. And that's inspired me to make a change. And then it causes a ripple effect. And it changes more lives than ever before. So please, share your truth in the comment section below.